Everyone, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Pokemon Gold. This is turn 63. Let's jump into the turn. Alright, so we've got a whole lot going on. Let's go ahead and run through everything. First off, we cast Galegate. We were successful in casting the Global Enchantment. Hoorah! We weren't up against anything, so yeah. We cast Arcane Probing, found nothing. We cast our first Future Fist Exploration. Very good. Haruspex got us nothing. Nothing with Auspex. Nothing with Augury. Another Auspex. Another Voice of Apsu. Haruspex. Dark Knowledge. Okay, so kind of a negative round for the site searches, but our lands are mostly site searched at this point. So either we acquire new lands or we stop site searching. So, all right. Searched for. These are our nurses. Searched for temples in Ministra, got nothing. Mounds of Madness, got nothing. We got a proclamation from Celadon City for a new prophet. Okay, so we've seen a battle between Atlantis and Olivine City. So let's go ahead and watch this. We can get an idea of what Atlantis's capabilities are. Although so what is going on here is Atlantis is basically using their strong national troops, right? Coral Guards who have this pretty strong Coral Glaive, right? As well as Warriors of the Deep who have these pretty strong Basalt Spears, right? And they're gonna do a pretty understandable tactic. They're gonna summon Earth Power. They've got this Mage of the Deep, right? But they've also got a Basalt King and another Basalt King. Okay. And we go summon Earth Power and Weapons of Sharpness, boom, and Strength of Giants, boom. So, and we're getting Quickness. That's what this Mage of the Deep is doing, is spamming Quickness. So, all of these units are going to have Weapons of Sharpness. So these relatively hard-hitting glaives are very hard-hitting now. These relatively hard-hitting glaives are going to hit for armor-piercing damage. These guys are doing 30 damage with these armor-piercing spears. And the quickening, right, or quickness is going to hit multiple people as well. So the Strength of Giants goes off. And now this guy is also kitted out, right? He's got a double Swords of Swiftness, decent little gear, Mistletoe Garland to give him luck, Ring of Regeneration, Boots of the Messenger for reinvigoration, and Armor of Knights just for good base protection. So this is a pretty dangerous combatant, okay? Especially after he has been Weapon of Sharpness, Giant Strength, and he quickened himself. So Temper Flesh goes up, and now he's gonna go into combat. Let's see what Atlantis is. So we don't have a Bless actually. So yeah, this is gonna be a pretty easy win for Atlantis. He's just gonna roll over. But this would have killed the shit out of a Steelix if it had run into it. This is actually kind of the technique that I was using, obviously, with the... Actually, it's basically the technique I'm using now, right? With my champions, hitting them with the Weapons of Sharpness, etc. The only thing is he has... Living Pillars have magic weapons, which my Machamps do not. So that's an added bonus in Atlantis's favor. Okay, so next up, we got hit in Dragonscale Mountains and lost. Finally pushed my Eradicate off of that. We attacked in Woods of Weeping and won. We were attacked in Farron Mountains and lost. We were attacked in Storn Woods and lost. We found a gold deposit in Giant Spine, which is nice. That's like an extra 60 gold for us per turn. We have foreseen a major event the stars will be right for alterations. We've got a Ruby got caught in Panofia. He's actually, Pewter is really patrolling in a lot of different places. So, and that's interesting to me. That tells me some things. Actually, a couple things. I feel like I've got information from a couple of. That is, so seeing things like this, like the Team Rocket Grunt Commanders militia, that tells me that he's been training troops via like schools and universities. That he's run into the same bugs that I have. And this also tells me that if he has those still, right, he has enough income and enough creatures that he is recruiting that he's not worried about getting these guys more experience. Okay? So that's interesting. Okay? Shit, sorry. We got attacked in Panofia, or we were discovered in Panofia. We were discovered in Cinnabon Island. So again, we've got another scenario, much like the previous one, right? Where we've got all these different individuals, and we can kind of see, right, that he's patrolling with a lot, right? So very interesting. Got same scenario in Goldenrod City. And then we were attacked. Actually, we weren't attacked. We discovered a Steelix champion in the Scarce Hope Waste. He tried to sneak a Steelix past me. And so we're going to kill him pretty easily. We do lose 2 black belts. And the thing is actually, it's kind of funny. This guy is considered on his own strong enough to trigger gem usage. So our Kyogre goes through its whole serpent. So this could have ended up way worse for us, right? Because we had that, remember, we had that issue where we were like, foul vapors might just kill all of our people, or kill all of our schoolgirls at least, right? But it looks like foul vapors didn't actually do it. That's very good. Our Machamps rush in, start to do a fair chunk of damage. Smack him around a little bit, and so we actually lost some black belts to the poison, and that surprises me. But I guess actually technically we lost shield black belts to the poison. Anyways, that's another Steelix champion down for him. Did some afflictions, diseases, did a lot of patrolling, bunch of promotions. Okay, so this is a big turn. We've got a lot going on, but it's less of battles and engagements and things like that. So let's take a look at what we are actually. So in the Olivine City front, we don't really have a whole lot going on. Atlantis is moving in on the coast. We're going to be moving armies in towards this kind of center portion, trying to take it over, right? Violet City, the plan is for Violet City to eventually move in and take their capital back. On the situation, I'm going to try to negotiate for some of this land down here in response, basically. So I'm kind of trying to give the scenario of maybe I give away this portion of land, right? In order for Violet to take this away, right? And go from there, basically. We'll see how it goes. So in Saffron City, what is happening is we're moving out with several different groups of troops. So we've got our little Goon Squad in the Woods of Weeping. They're going to move into Farron Mountains, and they're going to be supported by Dolgad, who has a little group of Alexams and Gilgligers, right? Everyone else is moving into Berman Highs, and this is actually going to trigger supply usage issues almost immediately. So we're actually having a black belt hang back so he can bring out a bag of wine in the near future, because next turn we're going to move into Woods of Weeping, and hopefully that should be enough, and we'll hit Lost Canyon range. So we are moving Robodan and Intamena into the Berman Highs, right? Pretty typical scenario going on right there. Actually, to in. We're moving Chuck along with Robior into Berman Highs as well, and we're actually taking Yilveth along with her 80 Amphiroses. And the Amphiroses are there to deal with anything else, right? Obviously, they can't hurt a Steelix, but they can nuke the shit out of anything else that we run into. So we're going to have a massive army of Prodigy Black Belts, a whole bunch of buffs going in. We're going to have another Steelix next turn that we're going to kit out immediately and send along the way as well. So this should be a relatively formidable army. Fingers crossed. Okay. And that's pretty much it in Saffron City. So over in the Violet City front, we're doing a very similar scenario, right? We're moving this big army from Scarce Hope Wastes into Violet City. We're gonna march forward. I'm assuming he got a random fortification event in Storm Woods, so we're gonna go to try to crack that. Probably gonna aim for Chuck's army to Lost Canyon range and Zinville's army up to Storm Woods. We'll see how that goes. We're actually moving this Scroll Girl back because this Astral 2 is actually decently important to us. Now that we've discovered that we can lose the legendaries at any given time, having access to this Schoolgirl basically gives us an Astral 5, right? With any two combination of +1 Astral miscellaneous items and a Starshine Skullcap. That makes this Schoolgirl an Astral 5, which is pretty important. So we're actually going to move her back to Three Pine Grove. That does pull one person out of the Schoolgirl cadre, but I honestly don't think that they're going to be that big of a deal anyways. I'm not super worried about it. The Kyogre ended up losing his gems for this turn, so we're actually going to bring the Articuno up with more gems. Not enough. It's going to have to be. So we're bringing the Articuno up with some nature gems to resupply the Kyogre and to supply the other Schoolgirl with more options as well. We're going to see how that goes. What else do we have going on? I think that's pretty much it as far as the actual army itself. Again, this is another big army. It's got a bunch of different moving parts and pieces. This is not quite as large an army as, like, regular standing army as the Chuck army, but this one has a lot more mage support. This has 3 Steelix champions, where the other one's only going to have 2. It has Tarbal the Golem. It has a Kyogre, right? This Articuno is going to be in range, though I don't think we're going to be utilizing him. That's right. I think the Articuno is probably one of the worst ones that I've seen so far, but we actually have a plan coming up to use him, so no big deal. Alright, moving down to Viridian City. In Viridian City, we're again facing money issues. We only got about 700 this turn, so we're actually not doing too terribly much in Viridian City, aside from our normal training shtick, etc. We are moving our nurses around to continue site searching, and we're actually moving Barana back to Viridian City because I was going to spend my money here on a lab. That was such a large portion of my money. I realized that I have many other locations that I can go ahead and start doing future fists at. So I'm actually moving Ininu up to Impassable Mountains to do a future fist. Then we can hit places like Great Dunes to do a Future Fist. Three Pine Grove can do a Future Fist. Those are both places that already have laboratories. Viridian City can do a Future Fist. So we've got a couple of different locations where I can ping pong around doing Future Fist explorations. And I might have to pop someone out here or there and do a quick lab. But this turn is not a turn that I had to do it, so I wanted to use the money elsewhere. That's what's happening in Viridian City. Moving over to Cyanwood City. We don't really have a whole lot going on. We're moving Fras and Shaikal further upwards. Not really a whole lot going on there. We're continuing to recruit Mareeps and mages as we can. In Cyanwood City, that's where all of the real work is happening. Actually, we need to guys back into the mix. So they go back down here so they can get experience. So, we've got a whole lot of training going on, but we've also got a couple of big spells coming out this turn. So, you might notice we're blowing through all of our Earth Gems. We're going to try to put up Eternal Pyre. This is going to take down, all but guaranteed, right? And so this is all but guaranteed going to take down our Stellar Focus. So we're going to lose 5 Astral Pearls per turn, and we're going to gain 20 Fire Gems per turn. I'm okay with that trade because I have more things I want to do with the Fire Gems right now. Astral is probably more useful in the long run, but the Fire equates to the Astral in the long run because 20 Fire Gems you can alchemize into 10 Astral Pearls, so I guess technically it's actually better for the Astral Pearls, but then if you try to alchemize, you get what I'm saying. Anyways, so Eternal Pyre is worth putting it up, even if we're going to be losing Stellar Focus. So we're going to do that. We're sinking a whole bunch of gems into it. It's going to be a very big thing for us. But that does get rid of most of our banks. So now we're going to be a little beholden to this income. If it goes away, it'll be really crappy. It won't be the end of the game, but it'll be really crappy. Okay, so what else are we doing? We're doing a whole bunch of equipment. Mostly we're forging a brand new suit of equipment for this Steelix champion. But also we're doing a couple of various odds and ends at the same time for people like Fraz and Shaikal. Okay? And then we're doing some really important things. I think 3 really important. So one of those really important things is we are summoning a Reggie Eyes. Okay? We're doing a Reggie Eyes quest, and this is important because the Reggie Eyes has Frostfend as its battle-wide spell. So that means the Reggie Eyes I can pair up with the Articuno, because the Articuno has the, I think it's called Winds of Winter. It's basically, it gives you, it gives people fatigue from cold, right? But cold resistance helps mitigate it. So if I pair the Reggie Eyes and the Articuno together, then they can be a pretty strong pair, okay? So, and especially if I pair them together with things like Polyraths that already have cold resistance 15, and Vaporeons that don't have any cold resistance. Actually, I just feel like they should. I was gonna say like fucking Glaceons, who should have cold resistance, but they also do not. But I can actually send the Glaceons out with the Reggie Eyes, and they won't kill themselves because of their chill, because with the Reggie Eyes, they will actually have some cold resistance. So this is yet again another way I can utilize them. So, and that's actually really good. We got some pretty nice precision, even with the -5, right? It's still an 11 for these blizzards, and that's pretty interesting. So, okay, so that's a big deal. That's those are a couple of different interesting ways that we're going to be utilizing. Another very big thing that we're doing this turn, not super big, but big, is we're making a winged helmet. This is a big deal because it's going to allow our Rex to be an air 4. Okay. And we could potentially turn around very easily and grab a bag of winds and turn him into an Air 5. Okay? That's important because he is a taskmaster, so we can make use of his capabilities there. Okay? It's also just nice to have stronger air access because we can use it to get us into different locations. But so that's what we're doing. We're doing a wing helmet. And then the third thing we're doing is we're doing a Jirachi Quest. And Jirachi is actually a really interesting. It's not the best. I don't think it's the best legendary, but I think it is one of the best legendaries. And that is because Jirachi's auto spell is shit, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. It's fuck. It is nope. Will of the Fates. So, start of the battle, Jirachi gives all your allies, everyone on your side of the board, luck. This is very nice. You give everyone a 75% chance to avoid death. It's a really good spell. And autocast, it's super crazy. Super crazy. So it's not the best one. I think there are other ones that are better. I think like Lugia with Wailing Winds is better. I think probably like Celebi with Mass Regeneration is better. But Jirachi is up there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to see how it turns out. This did cost us 25, I think. But we're getting to the point, like I said, we're up to 16. Now, this is actually partially in thanks to this Berman Highs discovery that we had, right? This 4 gems per turn. But next turn, we're going to have 18 gems. That'll be enough for Eninu to cast here, and then we'll have 17. Then he should be able to make it to Great Dunes. That'll be 18. Probably have to build a place. Maybe down here in Griffin Rock, that'll be 19. Build something over in Kunal, that'll be 20, right? Or sorry, not Kunal, like Giant Spine or Kratos. We have plenty of places that we can do this through. So I'm really interested in seeing how this kind of all turns out. So see how it goes. Okay, so that's kind of the big stuff for this turn. What else do we need to go over? We've got a couple of board state scenarios. And that is talking about what's going on with Atlantis. So obviously Atlantis is hitting the coast of Olivine City. That's a big deal. But Pewter is raiding around in Atlantis's pond. Also, apparently, because they have sailors just like we do. This has been something I have not talked about because I haven't seen so for a demonstration we can sail, but we can only sail so far, right? So I can sail over here to Polgrave, or I can sail down here to Indra Nigra, or I can sail straight across to the island. Okay, so useful to me, but not like I couldn't have sailed towards Olivine City. Not unless I wanted to jump into Atlantis's territory. And I probably could have messaged Atlantis and been like, "Hey, let me sail through your territory, I'll pay you money." And he probably would have done that. And I probably could have done that and sniped Olivine's capital 30,000 turns ago. I say that, but realistically, that's extremely unlikely that I would have been able to do that. But it is a possibility. It's something I thought about a while back, but I didn't think it was something that I would be able to achieve, so I left it alone. But Pewter's basically doing it to Atlantis right now. So that's something that we need to watch out for, because Pewter, as we've talked about, is set up to have several different thrones. Now, Atlantis and I actually talked about this quite a bit, but Pewter doesn't have H3 priests that they can recruit. However, However, where is it? Ah, here it is. So this is Azalea City. Pewter conquered Azalea City. And Azalea City has Butterfree champions. Butterfree champions are H3s right out of the gate. So it's possible, because I remember, this is, I mean, I'm doing the same thing right here, right? With the Infinity Forge, or Infinite Forge, whichever one it's meant to be. I can make Steelix champions. So it's possible that Azalea has placed a exploration site down in some of its territory that allows the recruitment of Butterfrees. So we're actually going to go try to scout that out. Right, we're going to try to figure out if that is actually the case or not. But it's something that we need to watch out for. We need to watch out for Pewter trying to rush. So that's a development in the wider world, with Atlantis on both the Olivine City front and the Pewter City front. Another development in the wider world is that Saffron City is basically slowly getting pushed by the ghosts. That's a big deal. The ghosts have not really dipped as far as like death goes, so that's a problem. And I've been in discussions again with Atlantis to see, like, maybe it's a good idea to go after the ghosts, and maybe if I take the ghosts' lands, then I'll have a big front with Pewter City. But and I think Atlantis might have been mistaken about this. So like, he definitely has Death 3 scales. So I assume that most of this land, like we can see here, right, in Polgrave. It's not quite dead, but that's because well, maybe not because, but my Dominion is in this area, so it's kind of pushing up. But, all of these have been Death 3 for a very, very long time. I cannot imagine that... I just can't imagine that there's a lot of life left in these places, which means we're going to have supply issues. And I actually wouldn't be worried about the supply issues if it weren't for the fact that my nature gems are basically my worst income. All the rest of my income is actually pretty decent. My nature gem income, though, is pretty shit. I've been very unlucky. So I don't know that that's actually really going to be an option for us. It might be again, I'm going to try to negotiate with Violet City for this area, but it might be better for us to go after Vermilion City. If this doesn't work, it might be better for us to go after Vermilion City anyways. That's pretty much it. That's the turn. Research-wise, not this turn, but next turn we should have Enchantment 8, which means we're going to get a couple things, but the main thing that we're after is Mass Regeneration. Okay, so that's going to be a nice something that we can throw out repeatedly. Frostfend and Firefend and Thunderfend are always useful, but Mass Regeneration is really the thing that we're looking for there. Okay. Lichcraft is also something that we can put on the table. We can start making liches, which would be pretty useful, but we'll see. Next up, after we get enchantment, we're gonna go for construction 8, because I'm getting to the point where I'm running into situations where I feel like it'd be nice to make some unique items. We're gonna fish around and see what we can do with those. And then it's Alt 8, Alt 9, or really for Army of Gold, Army of Lead. But potentially for Wish. How we want to route our way. So very easily we can get camera, the photographer up to 7 astral, right? It would just be a hop, skip, and a jump. I say a hop, skip, and a... We could get up to 9. Be rough, but we could get up to 9. So that's something to think about. See how it goes. All right, I think that is it for the turn. Kind of a lazy turn, honestly. But I guess we're kind of looking for that big battle from Olivine City, and I'm not sure we're gonna get it. After seeing what happened this turn in Scarce Hope Wastes, I kind of get the feeling that Olivine might be just stealthing a bunch of things into my lands to try to raid me some more. Which is, I think, okay. I think we can just counter raid and eventually it'll be fine. But I think these big armies need to go do what they need to do. They need to go put a nail in the coffin for Olivine. If I can get Olivine City, that would be nice. I would still really like that. I won't fight Atlantis over the coasts, but if I can make it to Olivine City before he does, before he successfully takes it, especially if he's busy having to deal with Pewter. I mean, I fought for the damn thing for a long time, so I'd like it, truth be told. We'll see how it goes. Alright. I keep saying we'll see how it goes, because that's kind of like the motto of this fucking game right now. Alright, so. It was fun. I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.